presence of lawless elements upon innocent and defenseless inhabitants who travel from one place to another disturbs the peace and order and stunts the economic and social progress of the people. Among the highest forms of such lawlessness constitute either piracy or highway robbery. To address such concerns, in August 1974, Presidential Decree No. 532 Anti-Piracy and Anti-Highway Robbery Law of 1974 was issued. So, to understand more of PD No. 532, let's start with piracy. What is piracy? Piracy is akin to robbery. It is referred to as piracy because the object of the thing is either the vessel or the cargo or the equipment of the said vessel. There is also the use of force or intimidation, use of violence against persons, and intent to gain. Now, what is piracy under PD No. 532? Under this law, piracy is committed when the offender is attacked or seized the vessel or a part of the shipment or the personal belongings of the passengers, irrespective of their value. The criminal act is executed by means of force and violence, whether the offender may be a part of the crew or a stranger to the vessel, and the vessel is on the Philippine waters. Piracy is also punishable under the Revised Penal Code, particularly under Article 122. Now, let's distinguish piracy under the Revised Penal Code and under PD No. 532. The vessel where it is located. Under the Revised Penal Code, the vessel is in the Philippine waters or high seas. In PD No. 532, the vessel must be in the Philippine waters. Now, who perpetrated the crime or the offenders? Under the Revised Penal Code, the offender is any person who seizes the vessel or any person who seizes the cargo, equipment, or personal belongings, and who is not a crew member or complement. In PD No. 532, the offender is any person. When it comes to penalties, under the Revised Penal Code, the penalty for a simple piracy is reclusion perpetua. Under PD No. 532, the penalty is reclusion temporal, except when physical injuries or other crimes are committed. In this case, it is penalized by reclusion perpetua. Now, what type of crime is piracy? Piracy is a crime against law of nation. Based on the nature of this crime, the people indicted with the crimes of piracy in the high seas can be tried and punished under international law or under the laws of the particular nation where the pirates had been captured. In cases where piracy happened inside Philippine waters, jurisdiction is within the purview of the Philippine courts. Jurisdiction for crimes against piracy were discussed in the below cases.
Wow, thank you for that, Q Jess. So now to move forward, qualified piracy was also mentioned in the Article 123 of the Revised Penal Code. So how does it differ from the piracy mentioned in the Article 122 of the RPC and the PD No. 532? Qualified piracy is the commission of the crime of piracy under any of the following circumstances: whenever they have seized a vessel by boarding or firing upon the same, whenever the pirates have abandoned their victims without means of saving themselves, and whenever the crime is accompanied by murder, homicide, physical injuries, or rape. So now, is there a qualified piracy under PD No. 532? Qualified piracy applies to both the piracy mentioned in the Article 122 and PD No. 532. However, the provision under PD No. 532, where it includes passenger and members of the crew as possible offenders of the crime piracy, conflicts with the first provision of qualifying circumstances. Paragraph 1 states that, whenever they have seized a vessel by boarding or firing upon the same. Considering that, under PD No. 532, the offenders are already boarded or are insiders of the vessel being pirated, this shall not merit to qualified piracy, but is only a simple piracy under PD No. 532. Abetting the commission of piracy. Under PD No. 532, any person who directly or indirectly abets the commission of piracy shall be considered as an accomplice of the principal offenders and be punished in accordance with the rules prescribed by the Revised Penal Code. Let's take this for example. If A passenger of the vessel, looted and stole the cargo of the vessel he is boarded into while it is in the high seas, he is not criminally liable for the crime of piracy but for the crime of robbery, since the Article 122 of the RPC clearly states that the offender shall not be a member of its complement nor a passenger.
So, we're done with piracy. Let's now proceed to highway robbery or brigandage under PD 532. Highway robbery or brigandage under PD 532 refers to any of the following acts. 1. Seizing a person for ransom, extortion, or other illegal purposes. 2. Taking the property of another person by force or intimidation, force on things, or other illegal means. To complete the qualifications, it must be committed by any person on any highway in the Philippines. Highways include roads, bridges, railroads, streets, and even passages where vehicles engage in transport of person and or cargo pass through. Then, what is the difference between highway robbery or brigandage under Article 306 in relation to Article 294 of the Revised Penal Code and highway robbery or brigandage under PD 532? To differentiate highway robbery under the RPC and highway robbery under PD 532, we just have to remember two things. 1. Under the RPC, it must be committed by a band or group of more than 3 armed malefactors, while in PD 532, 1 malefactor will suffice. Number of perpetrators is not essential. 2. Under PD 532, the robbery must be committed indiscriminately. There is no preconceived or predetermined victim, while under the RPC, there can be a predetermined target.
So that ends our discussion on anti-piracy and anti-highway robbery law of 1974, or the Presidential Decree number 532. We hope you learned a lot from us, and we thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!